guys permits to do work within the city, and I think that there's some challenges around how the work was executed, and the process that we as a city utilized to drive through that. So I'm gonna kind of break it into three areas. One is the standards of service. We had a number of complaints. Many of them, unfortunately, go from residents where they felt that crews came out and damaged their property. We did have an instance of where one of the sidewalks that abuts to a city manhole was, I guess, a piece of equipment went over that and damaged that. But then we also have received from the Sterling Lakes Property Owners Association photographs and invoices of where damage was done to the common areas. And so one of the challenges that I think that we have here is many residents felt like they got the card, but they felt like they just got their automated system and it just didn't go anywhere. And so I think when we have large enterprises like this, where you guys are going in and using the city's easement to do work, the workmanship standard should be that you guys leave it either as good or slightly better than the way you found it. And then the second piece is, how can you guys work through the issue of damage that occurs, not on the easement? You've got authority to work on the easement. But when you have to position equipment outside of the easement, and damage occurs there, i.e. you're using directional drilling to kind of drill underneath sidewalks and things of that nature, you have to put those tracked machines or whatever up on people's lawns. A lot of folks still have tracks from that equipment. So what is Eezee Fiber doing to manage that? And because it's a special project, is there anybody specifically assigned to handle just this area and just this problem? That's the first question. We'll get to the next.
Sure. I'll jump back there, but I'll walk you through if I miss anything. Yeah. So, part of our standards is to restore to at least the same or better than when we first arrived, right? So if there is anything outstanding, we would love to have the opportunity to rectify any of those issues. During the course of our whole project, which we have installed over 400,000 feet of fiber optic cable to Iowa Colony at this point. The project is complete. We received 80 inquiries during that whole time, right? So when we look at it from a linear foot perspective compared to what we're receiving, we go a whole mile without causing any type of damage, complaint, inquiry, etc., right? So that was 80, not just damage complaints, just inquiries, construction, questions, concerns, anything of the above. Out of those 80 tickets we received, all of those are currently closed, right, on our end. So they reached out to Eezee Fiber. We took the information, verified the inquiry / complaint / damage, and rectified that. If there's anything outstanding, we would love to know, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't just go construct fiber, we want customers, right? That's why we're here. So if we're not doing our thing, right, on the construction side, we're the tip of the spear. Sometimes it's construction. Once we come up with X-ray vision where we can see everything underground, we're gonna be a lot better. We're not there yet. So, with that being said, if there is anything outstanding, we're here to collect that information. We'll also provide our contact information directly. Yep, so to Dr. Richardson then, anything that comes through you can come directly to us. Martha Armstrong is our direct escalation coordinator. She takes all that information, aggregates it. Myself, Claude, my other construction managers, we just verify, right, the things in the field, and then we will take care of it on our time, for sure.
So I think there are some things, and full disclosure to everyone, I am a property owner in Sterling Lakes, so therefore I'm a part of the association, so full disclosure there. that being said, I do think there are some additional areas. I actually went and drove them today just to make sure there's still some additional areas, common areas in Sterling Lakes that need to be addressed.
Sure.
And so I'll coordinate that. You guys can coordinate that with Dr. Richardson and work that out. But they are looking to try to get those things resolved in those common areas. You perfectly segued into the second part of the concern for today, which is solicitation. So in Iowa Colony currently, it's against ordinance to do door-to-door solicitation without a permit. And one of the challenges that I think we face is that not only is it against city ordinance to do door-to-door solicitation without a permit, in many of the POAs, it is also against the deed restrictions to do solicitation without something. And so one of the challenges that we ran into was that we had a number of either your employees or your subcontractors who were doing door-to-door solicitation, because obviously you want customers. I agree with that. It's still not clear whether or not Eezee Fiber actually sought a permit to do the door-to-door solicitation, and when that door-to-door solicitation was done, the necessary information was not provided to your subcontractors so that they could present those credentials both to the individual POAs and to the individual homeowners, so that everyone was clear on that. So I'd like for you guys to kind of articulate, how does that process work? Because I know it's not always Eezee Fiber, sometimes it's a subcontractor. So how do you guys manage that?
Good thing I brought my wonderful sales team here with me. Ms. Claudia Lopez, our director of residential sales, as well as Lance Moore, also with residential sales.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, like Josh said, Claudia Lopez, door sales director. So we work and manage with our internal and external teams. And our records indicate that we did door knock or solicit in Iowa Colony in the month of January. Since, then later on, at the time, our records didn't indicate the requirements for the permits. Since then, we've been informed of the oversight at our end and researched what it was. To answer your question, no, because we didn't send a team back through here since the time. We didn't request, but now we're clear on the guidelines and the ordinance, and of course, we respect that and we follow the guidance. If at a future time, we would come back to door knock.
And then I'll go for it. Thank you. So in regards to the private HOAs or POAs, essentially, we also have with our community solutions team that will reach out, gain access agreements, make sure the different HOAs, POAs are in the loop of our intentions from construction to our sales teams, etc. Unfortunately, council member, I don't have that information in front of me, whether that process was gone through for Iowa Colony, but I will find out for you, okay, on the community solution side, which deals, again, directly with private communities or even public HOAs.
Okay, last one, that brings us into the next piece, which I think is something that we as a council, as a city, need to kind of figure out. So, I think in this process, it might have been good for us to have or arrange a kickoff meeting where everyone, whether it's the POAs or the city or whoever the group is that's working through this, so that we can get a solid communication plan together. One of the biggest challenges that we face is that oftentimes our communications are happening reactively instead of proactively, and that there's no. I don't know about how things go on your social media page, but whenever I respond to something on social media, if the complaint is out there, it's a no-win situation. No matter what I say, it's going to be a, well, why didn't you tell us before? And so I think for the city, it may be wise for staff to kind of get together and use this as an example, and do kind of a tabletop exercise between staff and Eezee Fiber to figure out what could we have done to kind of catch certain things in the beginning, i.e. they didn't know that they needed a permit to do solicitation, which I mean, I'm assuming that's a key thing that you, for every mile of fiber that you wanted to get customers, I'm sure you did. So they didn't know that is, something that needs to be done. And then the next piece on the communication piece was, you know, for things like this, I feel like staff union disagree, council may disagree, for major things like this, where the city is giving citywide permit to all of our easements, we should have somebody assigned to the city as our project manager and a phone number that channels all issues, all things to one person who knows, yeah, you're out of the colony, you live here, you live there, and this is what, we're gonna take care of you, you're all in this one queue, and we got you, as opposed to having to go through the phone tree. This is not city business, this is Tim Barlett's personal business here. I hated personally when I reach the place where I pick up the phone because I've got an issue with the utility, and I have to go through an automated phone tree, and I can't get a hold of a human being. Nothing is more infuriating, because I wouldn't be calling you if I didn't have a true issue. And so when we have something like this, I think it's important that we have a human being that's assigned to the city to be that point of contact, one phone number, one thing, everybody's calling that one person has a grasp on what's going on. Because you say you had 80 different issues and they're all closed. I would challenge you to show me, hey, where were all those located? So we can check them off the map. That's, she's gonna go get it, I love it. See, when you have the answer, yeah.
Right, but we'd be more than happy to share that information.
Yeah, that's something that's great, that we can put out there as a communication plan to show, hey, you had issues, you're taking care of it. If it wasn't taken care of to your satisfaction, you need to call X number down.
And we make sure that we provide you with our direct construction line that has less automation, right? And where we're at in this day and age, there is some automation up front, right? But you can reach what's considered our escalation team, right? Construction escalation team. And speak to my person, staff till midnight, and then come back at 6 a.m., right? So between midnight and 6 a.m., you will have to leave a message, but outside those hours, somebody will get back with you, so.
As far as what I brought, so I have my contact information. We have a manager of our HOA team and our community engagement team that we can forward the info. So in the meantime, I will leave mine personally, that it has my local number. I'll just place them here for now. And then if we can have on your end somebody that I can relate this information to, then I can communicate that directly.
Dr. Jerome Richards.
Dr.
He's
Jerome.
right there.
So let's make sure we exchange info, Dr.
Yeah, and also too with, Albert can too, I know I'm talking a whole lot, but, make sure too, that whatever, if needed, we're in contact with either myself or with Albert.
And I was gonna say that's the best thing, sorry.
No, come on.
Clearly, so I was gonna interrupt, but, thank you, council members. So I manage one of the door-to-door channels, and ultimately my goal is to develop strategy on how the door-to-door channel can be more effective and obviously better for everyone as we continue to drop fiber lines in communities, right? And so one of my team members, she manages essentially customer relations, and she said for white glove service, any of these instances that you have of, maybe damage in a community or a customer that potentially has damage in their yard or related, if you have a list of their name, phone number, and address, we will get that together and we'll do white glove service and just take care of it for you. So we'll reach out, Tyrone, Mr. Richards, Tyrone, Mr. Richardson, and we'll make sure we get it all taken care of.
Mayor, I have more of a comment than a question. There seems to be a lack of communication.
Sure.
And we, moving forward, was the city notified when the work started? Cause I remember we did approve it, were we notified when the work started?
Yeah, so, to answer your question, ma'am, once the city issues permits, right, we take that as our permission to move forward, right? So then, with that being said though, we do have pre-construction meetings with HOAs, we do door tagging that says, hey, if you have an issue, please contact us at this phone number, here's what to expect in the near future, right? So everybody wants a specific time frame, but then we're outside that time frame, right? So we kind of leave it generalized. So we try to notify, residents as much in advance as possible, as well as, and from a city perspective now, there are cities that do require us to do pre-construction meetings, walk us through everything else, something, right?
Well, we don't have to require that, because I think the city should have been notified, because we drive and then we see they're digging up, and my husband's asking me, and then he's like, they're on our street, you better watch and make sure they don't mess up our yard. So, if the city had known, we could have posted it on social media, and everybody would have known instead of asking questions online.
Yeah, and to that point, man, you know, that unfortunately, our processes have changed, right, as we continue construction, right? Now, a big piece of that is to give you, digital media placed on your website that has the flyers, that has a QR code, et cetera, that folks can utilize going forward. So, yeah, so right now we are finished with construction within Iowa Colony, you know, but you all are still growing the city, right? So, probably will be back, so we can make sure that we're in communication, make sure everybody's in the loop, and we can, you know, make sure we're following all the guidelines set forth with the city.
If I may just one more thing to the mayor, I think it's up to us as a city and the staff to work together to figure out what pieces of communication and by what milestones we need when someone comes to us, as opposed to responding to them, so that you don't know what you don't know, you didn't know we didn't know, we didn't know we didn't know, so this is how we got where we are. Yeah, it's a learning, we're growing, this is the first time we've had a major utility come through and do this. One question for you. We have a lot of residents who are in our rural areas who live very close to where you're laying fiber. You know what? I think my council member has a question.
My constituency is predominantly rural, and yes, this would be something that they would potentially like to know more as to when you guys are gonna branch out.
Absolutely.
So that's part of that, Justin, right?
Yeah, go ahead, I have a little spiel for it.
So, Iowa County's kind of unique to me, I've been in the business 40 years. We're building a redundant ring, it's for redundant, transparency if anything happens. And it does come through all the rural areas in the back way of 1462 and back up to the back way. So we are looking into those areas that as y'all are growing out, we're setting our OLT cabinets out there to light those areas up and do greenfield. Now, we're gonna catch 100% rural house, you know, back on the farm, probably not. But a lot of those communities on the outlying areas, we are looking, we did do future work here. This is one of the state of the art networks. And one last, well, go ahead.
I would think, and I'm sorry, I would think that many of the rural customers, many of them have never had a chance to have broadband access because the expense has been prohibitive. That is a good market for you guys to make some inroads in trying to work through this process.
Small town in Louisiana, it's near here in my heart, so.
Where you are, where you from?
Two Louisiana girls.
Farmerville. Monroe, no, it's, you consider it South Arkansas.
Fayetteville,
So it's-
Farmerville.
Yeah, that ain't really
One
Louisiana.
of my law school classmates and best friends is from there. I'm from Opelousas and
Okay.
she's from Lake Charles.
Okay.
That's cute that you think that that's Louisiana.
That
was North
If you have no other questions, I did wanna thank you all for the opportunity invited us to have this in person, you know, you have to put a face to the company who's behind, Eezee. Actually, like, it's giving me ideas to kind of make sure that we're more proactive and do this with other, you know, companies as opposed to wait for an invitation. And if anybody was open to it, we could even have, in the future, partner with HOA or a community for an event, and that way the community gets to meet us as well. They can bring any actual problems that they currently have to us, and they get to talk to that human and face-to-face interaction, and get to know a little bit more about Eezee. It's not just a company out there, but we do wanna make sure we have great partnerships with the community. So if you guys are open to that, you know, again, this exchange
We are, there's a gentleman back there named Jeremy Franks.
Okay, all right, Jeremy, I see you.
He's got a
Okay, there
major
you are.
event that's coming up, he might wanna talk to you guys.
Okay,
about it.
perfect, thank you, we'll talk, Jeremy. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So one last thing,
Before you go, I just want to say also too, just like we just did the town hall with, trash, contractor. I think if we could do something like that with you guys, where you come out and talk a little bit more about your company, talk about things you're doing, the areas where you're working in, then the community come out and they ask some questions, that, you know, other things that Councilman Barley has been talking about, has been impacting the community. And then too, as, Councilwoman Harwood has said, you know, in terms of the rural areas, and we can talk a little bit more about that, about the project planning and things like that, so that they know when you come into the community, you know, we know who's here and we know what they're doing. And then too, on the marketing piece, if you're gonna be doing that and you get your permits to be able to do that, that they know that you're gonna be in their communities and then you can try to push that out too from the city side, so everybody knows what's going on, throughout, even in the departments, we'll know what you're doing.
We'll reach out to our community outreach team to do a combo right with them and do some food and stuff as well as, you know, answer any questions, right, and open forum as well.
To your point as well, I cannot stress enough how much we are kind of middlemen till whenever the complaints start piling up on y'all's end, they're starting to come to us. Okay, and so if we don't have the answers, plus they're not getting the answers from you guys, that leaves a really bad consumer taste in their mouth, right? And you may never win that customer over, number one. And so I cannot stress enough from a private sector standpoint, how much engaging the public sector, and this being a public-private partnership to a degree, will do you a world of favor, truly. If I'm able to go to my constituency after 12,000 complaints and say, hey, you know what, I can help pick up the phone, and I can call my city manager can liaison if necessary, or I liaison, I can be part of the solution, instead of just sitting there and saying, I don't know either. So yes, definitely, in the future, do things like this with your city council.
Absolutely, thank you for that.
Mayor, if I may comment on something, at the beginning, we were having this, we started getting the complaints in. Yeah, we started having issues with the recording and all that, but then I got ahold of Mr. Cloud, he made it happen. He said, I'll get on it right away. Within a day or two, he was here meeting with myself and Mr. Frank. So these guys are very responsive. They have been. They came out to the field, we drove the city, and he was showing us what was theirs, what was not theirs. He showed us how to identify what was theirs, what was not theirs. So it made it easy for us. So, but he's been very, very good with us. He's been very responsive. So he's here for us, and I'm sure he'll make it work and make it happen.
Chief, you stole my comment. Same thing for you guys. I want to thank Chief Cantu and Jeremy. That's a good team there. Your public works department, spot on. I've dealt with a lot of cities, I've been doing this 48 years. You guys are spot on. So my hats off to those guys, and they were very responsive. They wouldn't, you know, want to come out and choke us, and they were very professional about it. And Dr. Richardson, same thing. That's, you know,